painting peeps, and welcome. It's Kathleen from Cause Creations. Welcome to the No Bra Zone number 4, guys. Ribbon cutting and unveiling to come soon. I'm still waiting on my countertops and my sink and a few things, but I've started to paint in my new studio and I am beyond grateful. I landscaped around it today and oh my goodness, so much to learn about these tropical plants down in Florida. I owned a landscaping company in Virginia for 30 years. And I knew everything about zone 7, and we are in zone, 12 or 13 down here. Everything's tropical and so much to learn, but a little at a time, and I'm excited. It was nice to get my hands dirty in the dirt for a change. But I have not painted for about 7 or 8 days. I kind of took a week off to do a few other things, organize my space here in the new No Bra Zone, put some landscaping in, had to adjust some irrigation. So I've been having a great time, but I've been missing my painting. So we're going to do a landscape swipe today because I love doing landscape swiping, but I'm going to talk briefly. I'll put a timestamp in case any of you just want to get right to the painting. But I want to talk briefly about mixing paints, and I promise that in the near future, I will do a complete video showing you how I mix individual paints because every paint is different. Now, I have been painting with a pouring medium of 50% Floetrol and 50% Liquitex pouring medium for a long time with a big healthy squirt of GAC 800 in each of my paints. But I kind of to find out that my pouring mediums can adjust my consistency of my paints equally as well as adding water. And I don't like to put a lot of water in my paints unless it's a pearl pour painting. And then that even freaks me out, the amount of water that goes into those. But every one that I've done has dried beautifully and I've had absolutely no issues. So what I've decided to do instead is I keep all of my pouring mediums in these wonderful bottles, guys. I tell you about them. Anything I tell you about because I love them. I got these from Fluid Art Co., where I get my piggies and my Amsterdam paint. And they are 500 mils or 16 fluid ounces, which is a wonderful size bottle. It has a very fat opening, so it's easy to pour into, which I particularly like. But I also love that it comes with 2 different caps, a broad mouth cap if you want a big heavy duty flow, or like this one on my water, a narrower cap. So these are absolutely wonderful. There is a link in the description box to Fluid Art Co., but I truly like them. They're easy to clean. I rinse them out when I have to, and then I usually use a long-handled baby brush to clean out any goobers, so it's really no effort. But anyways, I'm keeping my pouring mediums all separate. I keep Floetrol in this container. I keep my Liquitex pouring medium in this container, my GAC 800 in this container, and my water in this container. And if I'm mixing a heavier body paint, for example, my Amsterdam paints are a heavier body paint than my pigments or my fluid paints, like my golden fluid paints. So what I do is I put my paint in the cup. I add my GAC 800 to it first because I love my GAC. It does wonderful things. Read all about it on the Golden website. Stir that up really good, and the paints are usually thick. And then I add my Liquitex pouring medium to it and stir it up really good. Now, GAC 800 is thin. Liquitex is almost as thin. And then Floetrol is the thickest of the 3 pouring mediums. So if I have a heavy body paint and I need to thin it down to a thinner consistency, I go heavier on the GAC and the Liquitex. and lighter on the Floetrol because the Floetrol is heavy. So each one of these paints over here got different amounts of different pouring mediums. Now, there are pre-made pouring mediums out there all over the place. Liquitex carries them, Mixed Media Girl, Deco Art. You can buy one that's already pre-mixed, use it, and then add water accordingly to how thin or thick you want your paints. What I do is I add the proper pouring medium to adjust the consistency and the density of my paints. If it's a thinner paint, like a golden fluid paints, I will go a little, everything gets GAC 800, everything gets a little squeeze of Liquitex, but I go a little heavier on the Floetrol because the Floetrol is the heaviest of my 3 pouring mediums. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I promise to get more in depth with that for you in a complete video, which will be boring as heck to some of you, but hopefully educational to others. Let's talk about our paints today because they're yummy and I love them. This is our sky right here, and it's easy breezy simple. This is Deco Art Americana, and that is their baby blue medium body paint. Got a squirt of Floetrol, a squirt of Liquitex, a squirt of GAC 800, same, and a little bit of water to thin it down. This one right here is a beautiful kind of a blue gray. That is Deco Art Americana, and that is their winter blue. Got a squirt of water. Right here is Deco Art Satin Enamel in the pure white. This got no water. This is a thinner paint than the 2 Deco Art ones. So Liquitex, Floetrol, and GAC, Liquitex, Floetrol, and GAC, water, water, Liquitex, Floetrol, GAC, no water. And that's our sky. And our land. And I'm hoping once this painting dries that I get to go in and do a little embellishing when it is dry. Right here, Amsterdam Acrylics, and that is their olive green deep. This got less Floetrol, heavier body paint, a little more GAC, a little more Liquitex, and some water. Right here, which one is that? Oh, this is a common. Let's go to this one right here. This one right here is Amsterdam Standard Series in the Naples yellow. Got a little bit of water in that guy because the Amsterdam paints are a little bit more than a medium body paint. This right here is a combination of the olive green and the Naples yellow mixed together. And then this is exciting for me. I got this wonderful box from my friends at Fluid Art Co. That is this little piggy, and that is their Aspen, excuse me. This is glorious. It has a glorious sheen to it. But look at that lovely shade right there. I am very, very excited to use this in my landscape pour. Now, this was mixed a little bit different. I put a big scoop of the pigment in my cup. I put an equal amount of the Josanya gloss varnish in there with that pigment. And then I stir it up real good to make a nice paste. And then I start adding my pouring mediums. Now, because this is a pigment, because I doused it with Josanya gloss varnish, I went heavier on the Floetrol with this to help thicken it up. Let's take a look at the consistency of our paints, guys. It leaves a little bit of a mound before it dissipates. Let's look at a lighter color, might be a little bit easier. Our satin enamel. There you go. So leaves a little bit of a mound and then it slowly sinks into the paint below. That's the consistency I like my swiping paints to be. So I'm really, really excited about this, and I just realized I didn't mix up any base coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some base coat, which will probably be Artist Sloth Soft Body in the white, mixed to the same consistency as all of these other paints. Our canvas today is a 14 by 18 edge canvases, Jerry's Artorama, my favorite canvases. And when you buy them in bulk or on sale, you get them at almost as good a price as your gallery wraps at Michael's. What else? Oh, I am going to tape off the area between my sky and my meadow because it just gives me a better line. Now, 90% of the time, guys, you're working with fluid paints. Fluid paints move. If your thumbtacks or the cups that you're resting your canvas on are just a little bit off, or there might be something underneath that cup, a little grain of sand or whatever it is, your paint is going to move a little bit. 90% of the time, I have to come in once my painting is dry and repaint my horizon line to make it straighter. Let me show you an example of that. This painting right here, when I was done with it and was totally dry before I came in and enhanced it with a tree and some mountains, my horizon line had a little bit of a dip in it. No problem. Once it's totally dry, I tape off one side of it. I always keep a little bit in the bottom of my cup of every single paint color I use in a painting. And then I come in with that paint and I fix any boo-boos that you might see. I added a little bit of green in through here. I fixed my horizon line. I always keep a little bit of paint in my cups. And what I do is I have a 3-ounce cup that I mix my paints in, and then I take the next size up and I just kind of squeeze it down on top to keep it airtight. And then I usually write on top for which painting it is. I hang on to that for a couple of days. Once this is all good and done and I need to not fix anything on it, then I use those paints in another pour. So, Chatty Cathy I am. I'm gonna go mix some vase coat color. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. So happy to be painting. I've missed you, I've missed my paints. So, let's put some tunes on. Let's get busy. back, and this is a couple of days later, and I love this sky, and I love these colors in here. Let me just show you so you can see some of that movement. It's picked up this aqua, this Aspen by TLP up in through here, and I absolutely love it. But I thought maybe I'd embellish it a little bit. Let me turn it around. I'm sorry guys, you're gonna have to look at it upside down. But I got this cool stuff in the mail just the other day, and I thought, you know, let's try this. It's called Moss Effects by Pentart. And I think I got it on Etsy. One of my sisters from Sisters of the Traveling Paints recommended it. And so there's not much instructions here, guys. I can barely read it, but you apply it and then you put heat to it, either a blow dryer or a heat gun. They recommend a heat gun, but I don't have my heat gun here. And it makes the moss expand. So I thought we'd try a little mossing on this painting. And then I'm gonna embellish it a little bit with some lovely colors. I've got here DecoArt Extreme Sheen, and this is their Jadette. I also have DecoArt Extreme Sheen in the Peridot. I hope I'm saying these right, guys. If not, I'm sure you will tell me. DecoArt Dazzling Metallics in the Festive Green. I almost think I might grab some pearl as well. And then I have here Golden Acrylics in the green gold. Now this is a heavy body paint. It is not a fluid paint, and all of these paints I will need to thin down a little bit. And how do I do that? I do it with GAC 800. If it needs to be even thinner, I add a squeeze or two of water. I've got some handy dandy brushes here, guys, and two of the brushes you'll see me use is this brush right here, and this is called a rigger brush. I hope you can see the long hairs on it. Now this is used to do some really nice grass effects. You just kind of wisp it across the canvas, but your paint needs to be thin. If your paint is too thick, it does not move and it globs. So you're gonna see me dipping this in some diluted pigment or diluted paint and swiping it across the canvas to give some grass effects. Now, the important thing is you have to add paint to your brush often, almost after every single swipe. And these come in different sizes. They also call it a liner brush. What else do I have here that I love to use? My fan brush. And I find that the stiffer the fan brush, the better. Some fan brushes are very, very soft. The older and more crusty it is, the more that I like it. And this can give you some nice fan effects or grass effects by going up or down in any direction, or just kind of stippling the paint here and there. So you're going to see me do a little bit of that. I wish I could tell you more about it, guys, but I myself am learning. How do I learn? I watch YouTube videos. I watch lots and lots of artists on how to paint a tree, how to make grass, how to do flowers, how to do your sky, how to do this and how to do that. And then I do. And I learn every time that I do. And that is probably the best advice I can give you. I've got my blow dryer over here. Oh, I need to extend that cord a little bit. I'm going to use it on the hot setting to see if this moss expands. Now I might do the moss and have to put this aside and let it dry. I don't know. It's my first time using it. So fingers crossed we get it right. You're going to see me put my paints on a paper plate, and then I will mix them up with some GAC 800, combine some of them to make another color, and we're just playing to hopefully make a nice little painting, guys. So let's have some fun. Let's put some tunes on. Let's get busy.
Days of romantic prose and lilac wine. Nights out under the sky, watching stars align. Days of making sweet honey, Melissa, lemon balm. Nights as warm as your breath on my chest, so calm. Now baby, let the summer breeze carry us away. Let the summer breeze carry us away. Baby, to a place where the sun always shines. warm as your breath on my chest, so calm.